Hari Om. India is known as the land of festivals. In the Indian context, there are so many varieties of festivals that are celebrated because, offhand, its culture is an unbroken tradition for at least for about 25,000 years or even more. So when a culture has been sustained over for so long a period and it has gone through its own ups and downs, there are various traditions that you imbibe and it becomes a part of your system and traditions. Some of the most ancient ones are the Vedic traditions. Then we have the Puranic traditions. Then we have historic traditions, that which probably can be broken down into national relevance and regional relevance. Then there are harvest festivals. There are there Every generation in Bharatavarsha has been blessed by so many Satpurusha, Sadhu, Mahatmas, great realized masters. So their birth, even their death for that matter, is celebrated. Then there are these celebrations that are focused on individual spiritual sadhana, because all of these festivals are connected to the individual and the individual's sadhana and their growth through it. So individual level. Then as a family level, for the family's health, wealth, prosperity, spirituality. And one more important thing is the traditions have to be handed down from one generation to the other to the other. That is how it is sustained. So at a family level, then at a community level. So festivals are a reflection of its rich past, rich heritage, culture, tradition, customs, all of that bundled together. It appears today that there are so many festivals to celebrate and to be proud of. To come to think of it, what is the traditional name with which these festivals are recognized in the pan Indian languages, primarily being Sanskritam? Because most of the words that come in Sanskritam, one way or the other, reflect in our vernacular languages. In Sanskritam, a festival is recognized broadly through three words: Utsava, then Parva, then Tyohaara. Yeah, Tyohara is actually a Sanskritam word. We'll come to it when we understand these three words. What does a Utsava mean? I just quickly checked Wikipedia. It says Ut and Sava. That is not how the word is broken. Or Sandhi Vicheda is not that way. It is Ut and Su. When that Su comes in with Ut and the way it is used as a proper noun, then it becomes Utsava. Ut meaning something which is sublime, something which is sreshtha, something which is up, something which is uplifting. Su, towards what? Towards that which is good, that which is better, that which is prosperous and auspicious. So, Utsava means to lift one's own mind at an individual level, at a family level, at a community level, whether it is at an individualistic or a totalitarian, both uplifting the individual to a higher, to a better, to a more auspicious state of being. See, when we celebrate festivals, today it is now declared as holidays. And we inadvertently have come to a state of mind collectively to consider holidays as fun time. Now, this fun time has taken a toll, as it is explained beautifully in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says that fun or sukha can be described in three ways: one which is tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. Utsava Parva Tyohaara are those which are of the sattvic nature, which takes the individual or the totality mind to something higher and sublime, something very auspicious, something very rejuvenating. When it is of a tamasic nature, what happens? Before, during, and after, the kind of joy experienced only leaves the individual with more drained feeling. Come to think of it, most of our holidays, fun and frolic, the higher spirituality, meaning the spirit in the bottle downloaded and then you become intoxicated, has its own repercussions. It makes us even more drained. Long time ago, I had gone to the Disneyland or Disney World, one of those, and there is a Epcot Center. The guy who was giving us the tour defined it beautifully. He said Epcot stands for every person comes out tired, which is true. You have to walk so much that you come back tired. So most of our fun is an Epcot event. Every person comes out of it tired. When our great rishis thought of these Utsava, they planned it to be not tamasic, not even rajasic, but at the highest level, at the most sattvic level, that it rejuvenates, reinvigorates, charges up, so that the same individual going back to the world of activity goes back with a certain amount of joy and peace. I can bring into an environment only that which I already have. And these moments of Utsava brings that attitude. So I explained what is Utsava. All three mean the same, but there is a slight change or difference as to why the festivals are called with these names. The second word that I'd like to look into is Parva. Parva means the Sandhi Kala. Most of these festivals are decided or ordained by the movement of planetary motion. When you, the first thing that comes into my mind is, say, for example, Kumbh Mela. several kshetras: Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Satlaj, Ravi, Bias, Krishna, Godavari, Tungabhadra. So these major perennial rivers, they have this Kumbh Mela. A certain explanation given is because the Amrita Kalasha, the Kumbha, was born on that day. The Amrita Manthana was done, and Dhanvantari brought in that Kumbha, and therefore there is that Kumbha relation. But even more detailed, when you look into it, it is coordinating with the movement of Brihaspati, the Jupiter. And the Jupiter goes around and comes into that house of Kumbha once in 12 years. And the beginning of it, when it enters, is when the Makara Sankranti time, and it continues until Shivaratri. So the beauty is, this is a tradition which is referred to, mentioned in even in Ramayana or before that time. If you just step back and analyze, there's so many pointers that it reveals. First, that Earth is Golakara, it's spherical. It revolves around its own axis. It has a satellite, which is a moon, which revolves around it. Both together revolve around the sun. All these facts the ancient knew, and they called this galaxy system as not earth centric but the sun centric. Therefore it is called Saurya Mandala. One of the planetary objects is the Saturn, sorry, the Jupiter, and that Brihaspati revolves, and it takes it about 12 years to come to that conjunction. What an amazing understanding that they knew all these in that ancient time. Definitely not a primitive mindset, definitely not an unintelligent system. So Parva is the confluence of these planetary movement, and that Sandhikala is when these festive moments occur. So what does it mean? Parvakala or Parva Sandhikala is that beautiful time or time frame wherein, when we focus upon our own individual instrument, fine tune it to the totality, there is a surge of positive energy that uh, empowers the individual, thus thereby revitalizing the system, recharging the system. That becomes a possibility. So Parva is that Sandhi Kala. Whenever that Sandhi happens, there's something beautiful comes out. See, for that matter, when you look at it, the ancients understood that Earth has these several land masses, the plates. They, when they come together, collide, the Earth raises up. That raised Earth is called Parvata, and it brings the best of the earth out. Several minerals, several precious things. The result of the Parva Sandhikala is Parvata. And that which is born of it is Parvati Devi, Annapurna Devi. The connection is so beautiful. So therefore, every Parvakala is that which aligns itself to the totality as a part of the totality to bring out our best. And with that, when I connect with the world outside, it brings us in attunement with the nature, with the nurture, to give out the best to the world around us. Parva. Last word that I would like to focus on is Tyohara. Tyohara is actually a word that comes from the mix of two words. One is Tithi and Var. Now, if you look at the ancient calendar system, the Hindu almanac, the timekeepers, the way they read their time, again, there's so much to speak on it. One day I'll dwell deeper into Panchanga. The shortest time that they have calculated is called Trisranu. From there to the largest time span that is calculated is the Yuga cycle, and then the Mahayuga and other calculations. They were so precise. Today, we are given with the atomic calculators or the observatories, but way past, tens and thousands of years, a few million years ago, they had a thorough understanding. In the Panchanga, what do they cover? Tithi, Vara, Nakshatra, Karana, Yoga. Okay, today we'll focus only on two aspects, Tithi and Vara, because we have to understand Tyohara. Tithi is the calculation of the moon's movement. So, moon's waning and waxing, 15 days of waning, 15 days of waxing, Purnima to Amavasya, Amavasya to Purnima. So, two sets of it, waning and waxing, put together is one masa. And that is decided by the movement of the moon. Then Vara is from sunrise to sunset. So that is called Dina. And the entire day from the sunrise to the next sunrise, it takes about 24 hours. And this calculation is a 7-day cycle, which is called Vara. So this Tithi and Vara, the movement of moon and sun, the apabhramsha of it, Tithivara, had become Tihivara, Tihivara became Tivahara, Tivahara became Tyohara. It is an apabhramsha of Tithivara. So the idea is Tyohara is understanding the connection with its roots, with its origin, and the relevance of it in its application today. And that ends up being something uplifting. So we have seen Utsava, Parva, Tyohaara. Why? Why do we have to celebrate? Now, the idea of celebration in itself is to, as we saw it very clearly, is to uplift both at the individual level and at the totality level. Uplift the mindset to something sublime, because it is so easy to be, for an individual to get lost in day to day rut, the mechanical kind of life. This gives a break from that mechanical rut, and it uplifts the individual. Then one would say, is it necessary to maintain these traditions? Of course, it is a necessity. Otherwise, what happens? And there are two aspects. One, you have to maintain the tradition, and also understand as to why we celebrate. What is the purpose of this particular celebration? When it is disconnected, we end up being in the same position like how what the Indian festivals are misinterpreted, misrepresented, voiced differently, especially these days. Every festival has to be banned, every festival has to be morphed, every festival has to be seen in a very dirty light. It's because we have lost the connection to it, and then we become either defensive or apologetic. Both are not necessary. So, to maintain these traditions, I, as this particular generation, have to connect with the roots of it, understand it, and pass these traditions down to the next generation for their better understanding. Some go ahead to the point of making it look um fun or something exciting. It can only be maintained for a certain while. The grip will not be there. The grip for the society, grip as a society, grip as understanding its culture and cultural roots. So one does need to understand the roots of it, connect with it, practice it, and uh, share it for the next generation, empowering them so that they can also uplift themselves. This is the reason that we in our Bharatavarsha we celebrate these different festivals, so that both at the individual level and at the totality level we can uplift ourselves, connect with that divine, divine as the totality, divine at the core of our own being, thereby bringing meaningfulness, a sense of peace, sense of stability, and a rejuvenated mindset to forge ahead in life. With this, I think if we go into dwelling about why different festivals with this backdrop, it'll start connecting and making a deeper sense. Hari Om.